want to make you introduce some of the topics that are often repeated in all our games. And this is basically PiGame module, and if you are working on the games like Flappy, Angry Bird, Race, Mario and even more games, you will often work with this Pygame because this basically provides you all the essential things that is basically converting or working with this frame and animation and also climbing, sinking and all the properties. So before starting, this Pygame module would be used in order to make this rect. When we have made this snake in our Pygame lectures, we have used this rect function, that is to make the rectangle, and this rect would take your top, left and width and height, and basically it creates the rectangle. So let me give you a quick overview why this rect is really important. So let me give you a quick view of these assets that can be used in our Flappy Bird. This is our background and you can see our Flappy Bird, and this is bird wings up and down. So this is our pipe. So while working with this pipe, that is while working with this transformation, that can be scaling, that can be rotation, you have to make first a rectangle. That means you have to just use this rectangle, use this SS as in rectangle. You will make the surrounding of this pipe or any assets or any sprite which can be used in our game as in rectangle. So first you want to, so if you want to use this rectangle in your game, that means you have to first create the rectangle out of it and you can use it for the transformation, that can be scaling, rotation and many more. So this is the first term that is basically used in our Flappy Bird in order to create the Flappy Bird and work with the resources. So you can just document it. You can just go in your favorite browser and hit this website, that is pygame.org/docs, and you can reference this Pygame rect. This is basically Pygame object for storing rectangular coordinates. That means it will take your left, top, width and height. So that means this left and top is the position, that is x and y position. Height and width and height is basically the width and the height of your rectangle. So it will just create a rectangle in which your objects or in which your assets or material can be embedded. So it is really important to know this rect function, and it is used throughout our all the lectures because it is really important module to know or very important class to know. So you can have multiple functions here, but we will use only the two functions and that are important, that is first copy in order to copy the rectangle and the move in order to move the rectangle. So this is only the two functions that we'll be using throughout our lectures. That is because we only need to copy this rectangle and only the transformation will be done from the Pygame another module, that is Pygame another function. So we'll just use this copy and move from this Pygame rect in order to work with the rectangle. So another thing I want to make you clear here is you want to use this frame per second, and this is really important in order to convert frame to millisecond and vice versa. So you can just document it, and you can see in this Wikipedia there is a really interesting article about this frame rate. Go and search for this frame rate in your Wikipedia and just make sure you go with this some of the points that can be really useful while making this game, talking about the frames, and you can also see the speed and millisecond animation speed and so on. So another thing, while running this game or while creating this game, you can encounter that we'll be talking about this climb speed and sink speed. This is basically we are climbing, and if you tap, this is your climb speed, that is displacement in y, and if you just leave in tapping this screen, that means if you leave here, that is your sink speed. So we'll often deal with this climb speed, sink speed, rect and animation speed in our Flappy Bird. See you in the next lecture.